Hello, folks. Thank you for your patience. And let's see, who was asking me? Simple Old Games. Hello, can you hear me? Let me kind of make sure to let me know if you cannot hear, because I believe that I got my control all set. Actually, well, I have to say too why I'm late again is because I got a new system. And my new system is, you can, okay, cool, thanks, thank you. So I got my new system to replace my old one, but then in order to set things up is taking a bit of time, and not only that, I'm always having other things to do. So you know how it is when you transfer things to a new system, it takes a long time, and it's not that simple, right? Yeah, so we live in such a crazy world, I have to say. I mean, lots of good things, but at the same time too, we've all been so busy. So anyway, my point is that I was gonna have Upcar to come and join us, and by the way, I think Upcar would be streaming again last week. As it turns out, he couldn't do it because he's also involved with a lot of things, right? With Call for Code. So if you are up for like a hackathon, and if you haven't done so, please join our Call for Code. So let me kind of put that into the chat again. Actually, it's just callforcode.org. So check that out. That's IBM's hackathon for a good cause, and it's actually with other charity organizations and other organizations too. So if you haven't checked that out, please do, because there's like a really attractive like sum of money sitting there waiting for the winners. I don't know how it's being distributed. You can read all the rules, but it's kind of nice too. And then you can, you're supposed to have fun, right? Learn something and using like IBM technologies, and not just IBM technologies too. You can combine, and we like folks to all try out using open source. So that's the idea. So please, give that a try. And Hetty, you are here. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know, Hetty, you've been busy, so thank you for joining, even though you're real busy. And thank you everybody too. Our lives are like too busy, so for you to be joining me, I really appreciate. I'm hoping too, every week that I be here on time, but as it turns out, Hetty, I was just telling, right, it's just like so much stuff to do. If not one thing, then that's the other thing, right? So for me, I had to change the fire alarm at my house because it was beeping, it was driving me crazy. So, and then I was like, okay, let me go to the store, and then, well, which one to get, right? And what I was more used to, they no longer make those, so then I have to get new ones, but the new ones are good too, and so that's what I did. Well, it obviously took me some time to decide which particular model I should be getting, what kind, and of course I ended up getting one that's actually smoke detector and also a combined with carbon monoxide detection. So that's good. But then I was like reading up, right, because all these like specifications. So that's another thing, we live in such a busy world. It's a bit kind of crazy, but anyway. Okay, so for today, without further ado, if you've been waiting for this long, and let me see, Hetty, thank you so much. And so let's see, so today too, as such, right, I told folks that I'm involved with Open Liberty and how I wish we could do it in person. And then of course too, with in person, then I can give you all the goodies, right? We have stickers, we have t-shirts and all kinds. And in fact, I'm actually wearing an Open Liberty t-shirt today. And so I thought that kind of being kind of, like in the mood, right, of all Open Liberty. But anyway, I hope it has been helpful. And as such, we're also hoping to do some sort of a roadshow, so to speak, doing like presentations at Java users group. And if you're interested too, if you belong to a tech community, you want us to come and do a presentation, so please, by all means, use the chat here, or follow me on Twitter and all these things. And of course I have Discord, and before I forget, let me give you my Discord link if you haven't already done so. It's always take me a long time. Let me copy that and copy, and let me, at least I have that ready. So okay, so this is Mary's Discord server. So the Discord server is meant to be for continuous conversations, technical conversations, and all kinds. And of course too, Last week too, we had this guest, new friend who joined Smut, right? That's his handle, and he came in and he actually had some things he wanted to talk about, right? And I think that's the idea. I'm hoping too, like with this channel, is that not only are we doing something technical and learning something, an important thing is too is that Open Liberty is a really good, I have to say, it's a real good library. So we're learning that, but we also hope that you can be sharing with us your stories or questions, or just have somebody to talk with, to it. I think it's so helpful, right? Sometimes, and as Smut kind of like told us too over Discord, was that he was getting like being affected by like the day-to-day things, something that wasn't very helpful, and it's just that kind of things can happen, and I'm sure it happens to you and happened to me quite a few times. I used to be bothered by it, but these days I don't, because I just decided I'm gonna live every day and enjoy it and find chances to learn new things, meet people, and that's what I want to do. But it's hard, like sometimes if you don't have that, and if you deal with kind of unreasonable people, right? But sometimes too it's good to kind of understand where they're coming from and have more conversations. That's the whole point. So anyway, Smut kind of joined us and then was talking, and Hedy, thank you too, you were joining me the other night. We were chatting with him and giving him some suggestions, and so yeah, it looks like things are better too. So I don't know if Smut you are on today, but if not too, we'll get back to Discord and see how things are going. But I think you were telling us that things were better after you spoke with the folks that you're working with. So that's all good. So that's the whole point. We want to create harmony in everyday life, in our work, in how we deal with people. I think that's the whole goal, and learn something. So all right, so without further ado, let me get back, right? So last week with the Open Liberty, I worked on this one, exercise, right? Deploying Open Liberty microservices to Openshift. And I was going to actually do it using my own kind of experimental Openshift cluster. But the thing is that in order to do that, we would need to actually install the Open Liberty operator. So there's a Kubernetes operators, right? And Strimzy, which is Kafka operator. But then the operator hub, unfortunately, wasn't showing up. But you know what? Let's take a look. So now the thing is that I have to say is that we actually, that's right. Let me send that information to you. Is that we're gonna have a workshop, and so I think I posted to you last week, but in case, for folks who didn't join us last time and didn't get the information, let me send that to you again over chat, and please consider joining us. And we'll be using Crowdcast next Monday. So Monday, that would be like 12:30 Central Time. So I think if it's 12:30 Central Time, then it would be evening time in Europe. So we're gonna do a workshop. Essentially, it's the same set of exercise. But the nice thing about the Monday workshop is that we're going to let you use a free OpenShift test cluster. We call it tests, but it's actually a real cluster of at least like 3 worker nodes. And then you are free to experiment with it, after the workshop for another 24 hours or so. But most of the time too, our very nice JJ, right? JJ also come and do streaming too. So JJ is the one that kind of manages all of these clusters for us, and just bless his heart, he's been so helpful. So he will set up these test clusters, and if you participate, sign up for that, you can get a free cluster for like 24 hours or slightly more. Not quite 2 days, but like a day and a half. So then you can play around with things. So the nice thing about this is that would be your chance to actually get a hands-on for a free cluster for a little bit. So, okay, so let me send that to you, because Dave Nugent, who actually is with our, the IBMDeveloper advocacy city team, right, based in San Francisco, he will be actually hosting it, and then I'll be doing it with him. So he'll be hosting, but I'm kind of helping out too with kind of demonstrating all of these things, because that's his meetup group. So, and let me send that to you. And so if you sign up, then you'll get a Crowdcast link too. So let me go back to here and send it to you. So, so IBMDeveloper meetup, right? So this one is like with our OpenShift mini. I call it mini workshop because it's kind of just an hour to about an hour and 15 minutes. So that will be Monday, June 28th, so next Monday, and that will be 12:30 p.m. That's U.S. Central Time. So that's GMT minus 5. So you can kind of take a look to see what your time zone is. Okay, so that's the link. Okay, so consider joining. Then you can get a hands-on a real cluster to play around with. So, okay, so that's that. And let me see what else I might have forgotten. So now you have that, and then we can why don't we just start, right? So open Liberty, and let's do. Okay, so now today, what I'm gonna do is that actually we'll go back to using a kind of simulator rather than a real OpenShift cluster, but it's close enough that you can actually get some hands-on. So that's a nice thing. And also the nice thing is that you can try it, you know, in the off hours anytime too. But like I said last week, if you were here, right, we ran into issue because when we get to deploying it, then the Kubernetes that I was using, right, at the time at that instance was actually having issue with the port number already being assigned. So that's what I was trying to find out was, you know, how come that happened? That means the instances, because these are like simulated environment, so there's environment that's actually being shared among multiple folks. So I think that was the explanation as I was given. So the idea was that they said, well, if you stop it and stop your instance and restart your instance, then the problem should go away. But of course, at that point, last week, we already worked through all the steps. We didn't want to just like wipe it out. So that's why too. And then it was running out of time, right? So, but anyway, so for today, let's step through it again. It probably won't hurt to step through it again because not everybody was here last week. So let me kind of maximize it. Okay, so open Liberty. So if you go to guides, right? So guides, let me kind of make sure you're getting it there. And if you go to deploy, see there are like 10 guides in here. So we want to go to Kubernetes. And the one that actually, if you see, is new, and that's the one that we wanted to do. And what's actually interesting? This is actually something even new. That's right, because our you know, these guides, we have person Gilbert, who is like in charge of all of these with his team of students that was helping us, doing a great job. So I think he updated it. This week's actually deploying microservices to OpenShift using code-ready containers. So but these are local OpenShift cluster running with code-ready containers. Let's do that. I think if they have like the cloud hosted guide, we can try that. But if not too, I wanted to point out too, last week we tried deploying microservices to OpenShift by using Kubernetes operator. So let's take a look, because in reality too, there actually isn't actually a real Kubernetes cluster. Okay, well, okay, so they have changed. Interesting. Last week's actually was the cloud hosted guide. So I think maybe because I reported that problem, maybe they took it back for now, because it was having some issue. So let's kind of go back. Okay, so that's okay. I think in that case, so as you can see, right, if you want to try out the deploying to Amazon, we have that now, to Azure, Kubernetes service, and Google Cloud Platform too. So yeah, give that a try. You know, we should be able to kind of give those a try. But why don't, actually, that's the thing, is that I don't already have these platforms set up. However, if you have one, I think Hedy, you're using Azure, right? And which one is that? Azure, Hedy, you were telling me about a cloud platform that you can set up to use free clusters. Maybe folks can also see if you can actually use those free clusters. Maybe you sign up. I think it's a free thing, right, that you can use, and then like an open source like simulator type of environment. Anyway, Hedy, if you're here, you can let me know what that is. But otherwise, to folks, if you have, you know, Amazon or Azure or Google Cloud, you know, give those a try. But let's see. Let's take a look. Last week, like I said, we did that, right? We did the one to just using Kubernetes operators, but then as it turns out, they took it back. So I'm kind of wondering, let's take a look at these. Okay, we can do IBM Kubernetes service too, but I don't think that's as exciting in some ways, you know, because these days, right, everybody's talking about OpenShift. So that's why I was thinking we can do OpenShift. But actually, let's take a look too. You can also just do deploying microservices to OpenShift using Kubernetes. Wait, why are they having like different ones now? Okay, so I think they are still using, right? The two microservices are the same, but I think they just have different deployment is what it is. But in any event, I think we can try this, but this one won't be using the cloud guide. So I wanted to see if we can go to the cloud guide. So let's go back, Kubernetes. This one doesn't have, but let's take a look at deploying microservices to OpenShift using cloud-ready containers. Oh, I think they completely took away all of the cloud stuff. I was hoping that this could be code-ready containers. Maybe we can take a look. Red Hat container code-ready. So maybe we can give that a try. How about that? Or do you want to try something else? Actually, you know what? Let me have to go back to. So this was code ready, but okay. So I'm not sure if I actually can. You can actually use a quickly built. You can use this code-ready containers and run a minimal OpenShift 4 cluster on your local computer. That might be good because then I am assuming that all of you would not have an OpenShift cluster right now, right? Okay, why don't we do that? I mean, this actually I should have checked too, but I was kind of assuming going back to the cloud guide, but the cloud-ready guide is offline to us right now. So let's kind of give this a try. So let's use this. I don't know how far we can get, but we can take a look, because sometimes, as with other exercises that deals with a lot of different environment changes, we may kind of run into problems. But let's not be deterred by such fear, right? We shouldn't have any fear. Let's say no fear, okay? Let's go ahead and do it. So, okay, so we will learn how to deploy two microservices in Open Liberty containers to an OpenShift 4 cluster that is running locally. So that's the key. This is a local thing on your computer. We're going to use code-ready containers, right? And so now, okay, so we're not going to take a look into deploying microservices to OpenShift by using Kubernetes operators. But you know what? Let's take a look if you're ever interested, right? So what you could do for cloud, right? And anybody too, please consider signing up for our cloud. However, I'm aware that we unfortunately don't have don't give you like free access to the OpenShift creation. Not even like a single worker node cluster. I was hoping that we could do it, but I guess not. But let me also try to see if I can get some cloud credits, so then you can at least give it some kind of like test drive. But otherwise too, sign up for our IBM Cloud, the OpenShift mini workshop on Monday. You'll get a free cluster for a day or so. But for now, let's say if you want to log on to this, right? So I'm just log on to, this is my thing. Okay, all right. So, all right, okay. Well, this is our thing, but that's okay. You won't be able to see it. Okay. I think that's what. Oh, I can never remember there are just too many okay, so now you know my email address, but that's okay. You can send me email too if you want, but otherwise to follow me on Twitter, right? Follow me at Discord too, then we can talk. But okay, so I'm just gonna let me show it to you. So if you sign up for our mini workshop, right, Monday, then you get access to your cloud account. But you can sign up for your cloud account anytime too. But so if you log on, you see this, and the idea is that you come to your dashboard. But in this particular case, we have our own efficacy kind of area, like an account, so you won't be seeing all these clusters and all these things, but we're kind of in a share space, so that's why. So Actually, I think they should show mine, but I have a whole bunch of things in here. So I have one that's actually OpenShift OL work. This is my Open Liberty work cluster. So as you can see, we have I'm running one that's actually have three worker nodes, right? And each one of them, well, I have like three worker nodes that I'm using. So they're all good, but there's some ingress status having some issue. I'm not sure. Let me take a look. What is that? Unhealthy. Okay, let's see what they're telling me. But sometimes too, when things like that happen, it's kind of like beyond. Oh, thank you, Hetty. You like the IBM Cloud new interface? Yeah, I think the UI is pretty good. We have like a UI team that's kind of responsible for helping with designing, things, and they have like a special way too. I think they're special kind of their guidelines that they are following and trying to do a consistent interface. But thanks for your feedback, and I'll let them know too. I know some folks working on that team. So okay, anyway, so it's telling me that I can actually check the health of the ingress controller router. And I'm sorry, I know today we ended up not doing Java right away. We're doing some cloud stuff, but it's becoming a necessity, right? Working with cloud, so it is never hurts, right? And in fact, you know what? Talking about which too, right? Not sure if you follow Javan Paul on Twitter. He's based in India. He's amazing. He did a today. I got a digest of like a set of like blog articles, and they posted his Medium article on. Let me find it for you before I forget. But he essentially did a map of how to navigate and learn Java, and I thought that was such a wonderful job. So why don't we do this? Let me do that, right? Let's go to medium.com. Because sometimes, if I think of things, let's just share. If I don't share, then I forget, right? So, okay, so this is mine. So Javan Paul, right? Follow him. He's an awesome guy, right? If you haven't already, all of the Java stuff, he's just amazing. So you go to Javan Paul, right? This one is his. Let me kind of share on here. Yeah, Hetty, I think you enjoy too. He has a lot of really great stuff. So Javan Paul blog, right, on a Medium. Now he has his own site too, but otherwise to follow him, and I have to tell him too. I haven't never met him, but we're just kind of on Twitter and things like that. We follow each other, but of course he's amazing. So his actually, if you follow him, there was actually a okay, June 15th, he did something on, okay, do the show more, and it's like the I'm sorry, I kind of get excited and then I forgot, and then I kind of carry away. But okay, here we go. 2021 Java Programmer Roadmap, right? So June 5th, and that's the ones. It's Illustrated Guide to Becoming a Java Developer in 2021 with links to relevant courses. So he has a lot of great stuff in here. Let's click on it and take a look, right? Take a quick look, right? So yeah, so go visit this particular blog, but let me kind of send it to you too. So, and I have to tell him too afterwards that I advertised for him. I just thought of it, yeah. So Javan's 2021 Java Programmer Roadmap. Yeah, so that's the one. So if you want to follow and kind of take a look, I thought it was very nice. So this one, I guess, yeah, you can expand it, right? So you come in and learn the basics, right? And things like, not even getting to Java yet, you want to learn the, your operating system, your Git, your version control, then your data structure algorithms. Those are kind of building blocks, right? So we need to learn. So it's essential, right? And general programming skills, getting into Java, and then of course your tooling, IDEs, and then the build tool, Maven, Gradle, Ant, all these things, and then of course then you get into cloud tools that are Docker, Kubernetes, and Jenkins too, right, for all the DevOpsy stuff, right, Ansible, all these things, and then otherwise too, Java, right, has all these advanced data structure, and then getting to collections, and then concurrency is another kind of stack of complicated things. Oh, and talking about which, one thing lead to another. If you all know Venkat Subramaniam, great awesome speaker, right? Everybody knows him at Java World. He's gonna come to Chicago Java Users Group and do a presentation on Project Loom, so on asynchronous programming on July 22nd. Now we haven't got time yet to announce it, but we will. You know, it's still like about slightly a month from now. So just kind of mark on your calendar if you can come, or if not, you know, we'll have. Actually, I have to ask him if he minds us recording it, because sometimes he doesn't want to be recorded. In which case, then maybe we can ask him if he has another recording that he can share with folks. So, but anyway, consider joining us. And then we also have Kirk who will come on July 28th. He's the performance expert, right, on Java JVM, so Kirk Pepperdine. So also watch out for that, because he's going to talk about thread scheduler. I think those would be really amazing things, kind of like deep, you know, Java JVM knowledge, right? So those are kind of really nice. So that's why, like, whenever I get into these threads, it's asynchronous, always gets me excited. So anyway, so you can check this out. But like I said, right, I just suddenly thought of it, because I knew I have to kind of like share with you what I found. So that was great, and I have to tell him about it. Okay, so let me get back to, okay, we were saying that let's get into taking a look into the exercise. Then it's basically telling us to get into here, right? Oh, actually, this is that, and oh, this is now healthy. See, that's the thing too. Is kind of interesting, because these are like beyond us in the infrastructure layer. I think there are lots of things running. So I think I'm kind of guessing that maybe one node is down, something like that. So Kubernetes, then, you know, OpenShift in this case, trying to make sure that they, you know, all the nice you know, all of the clusters, your nodes are kind of all in sync. So I think maybe when it's being syncing up, the ingress happening, all these things. So that's why we're seeing a warning. But right now everything is all good. So that's where it is. So okay, so that's cool. So we can kind of open up the console in here. Wanting to show you, right? So if we get into like installing operators on OpenShift, and that's what we can do, and it's gonna take some time to open up. My machine should be better now, right? Well, actually, I'm kind of a little bit cheating, not quite like cheating, but this is actually my personal computer. It's still better than my old one that was having issue, but that's what I'm using, because like I said, my work computer still has something. I realized right before I started this streaming, I said, oh, I needed something and I didn't have time to do the copying. So I'm using my temporary machine for now. But right now, my OpenShift web console is not opening. So, oh, here we go. Okay. Oh. Okay, this is still somewhat of a slow thing, but in the meantime, oh, here we go. So this is what you will see, right, for an OpenShift console. Okay, so when you on the left side, you want to go to operators, and then you want to go to operator hub. So I think I'm still having this issue. This is kind of seems like a known issue, but the fix is actually not very clear, and I'm not sure why. And like I said, I created a new cluster, but I'm still having this issue. Then I was told that it's actually something underneath, you know, on the infrastructure side. So won't be able to install that. But otherwise, if it is all good, like next week on Monday, those clusters should be good, because those are like to be created like temporary with another set of configurations that actually is known to work, because the last time with our workshop, the operator hub would show up. Then all you need to do is just search for your operator, and then as simple as just using your UI on the console here and do the installation. So what we will need for this exercise is Open Liberty operator, and also for Kafka is the Strimzy one. So once you can actually install it too, then you'll see that they will be listed in here too. Now, of course, too, we don't necessarily have to use the UI. You can actually use command line too. But for today's purpose, maybe we won't step through that. Or maybe if we have time, let's step through that. This probably doesn't hurt. So that's that. Okay, so here we go. I was just gonna say, right, this actually gives you information on how to use command line to check, right, check all of your information for your operator. But let's do that too. Why don't we do that? Because I can actually quickly show you to open up a okay, you can kind of copy your login command, right, using that, and this way this is fine. These are not well, actually, you know what, let me go in here first. Let me open up our console. Actually, where is the console? Console is here, actually. Here, the console, you go back to the IBM Cloud, your cluster menu, and then open up an IBM Cloud shell. Okay, so that's my token, but these are like time sensitive, so you can try to connect to, and these are just all tests. but let's see. Or if you know, the thing is, if you don't want to use your Cloud shell, you can always use your you know, your installation of the shell of the Openshift CLI on your local terminal as well. But for me, I want to use Cloud shell. It's a lot of things are already set up, so I just need to like copy, get the OC login. So now I'm all set, right? So I'm all good. So we can run stuff like over here, right? You can kind of take a look at, you can get all the pods. Actually, this one is getting a specific pod, right? Openshift ingress controller, but you could actually, let's do that. So okay, so as you can see, right, these ingress operators running, it's all good now, but earlier we were seeing warning, so that's what it is. But if you do just a get pods, then it will show you oh yeah, that's why I need to set the namespace is what project, right? Project okay, so using project default, that's what it's using right now. No resources found in default namespace. I think there's projects too. The projects will actually give you a list of all of your you know, projects too. So okay, so the thing is, this is actually, the guide is the one that's used by the exercise too. It just so happened, but so I know I'm in a good state. My, you know, my cluster is all good. But okay, so that's that. And what else? Yeah, so unfortunately I won't be able to show you how to install that, but that's not let's not worry about it now. And okay, so that's good. And let's go back to the exercise. Yeah, so okay, so back to here. So again, if you just join me, right, you go to the guides, and show you again, right, going to openliberty.io and then guides, and actually this would be Kubernetes. So that's the entry point, right? If you just join me, right, so the Open Liberty, bad spelling, Liberty guides for Kubernetes and Openshift. So okay, so that's the set of guides that we're looking at. And then, as I mentioned last week, we were able to do the cloud hosted, but that is not available anymore. But let's take a look too if we're interested, right? Let's say doing in Azure, like Hedy, you probably have an Azure account. Oh, okay, so it doesn't have the cloud hosted either. So I guess it's okay. I think last week I was actually pleasantly surprised to find that they have it too. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Hedy. I know, Hedy, that's congratulations again. You got the Kubernetes certification. So you're really good now with like you know, interacting, right, with the CLI. So that's real good. So wonderful. And anyway, so like I said, today we're trying to deploy like Java. So let's take a look and using code-ready containers. And like I said, I haven't. This is completely new too, even for me. So we can kind of take it through working it together. So how to do that? And actually, like I said, right? Let me kind of quickly share with you too. Last week, right, to kind of give you an idea of this particular I actually put together this diagram to explain so that it makes it a bit more interesting, so you know what you're working with. For this particular example, is basically this is the high-level description of this sample app is trying to do. Oops, I think I am here. Okay. So over here, so there are two microservices. One is a system. The system one is just a busy microservice, and it collects system load data and publishing them to the broker every 15 seconds. And is essentially making use of Kafka. I believe this is the one. Yeah, that's right. So see over here, right? And so the other one is inventory. So inventory is the one that basically consumes the messages that are published by the system microservice through Kafka, right? And it's basically to being ready, so then if any queries coming in, then it will publish, it will actually provide answers to any query. So that's what it is. So that's the exercise with this particular guide. So hopefully it's kind of make it a little bit more clear. So as you can see, right, they're explaining all in here already. So yeah. So that's the one. Okay. All right. So now we can then take a look in this Red Hat code-ready containers. It says we can actually use this to quickly build and run a minimal, right, on my local computer. So let's take a look. I think. Wait. Starting. Oh, okay, so we can do CRC setup. So, okay, so I think first of all, then let's take a look. Let's kind of do a bit of a detour, right? And getting into here. Okay, I already did that. Okay, so this is code-ready containers. So essentially, it's kind of like a sandbox on your own local computer. So this one, oops, let me kind of send it to you. Oh, okay, Hetty, thank you. Okay. Oh, there is an Azure account that lasts for 4 hours. Oh, okay. But then it will require a bit of setup, right, Hetty? If we have time, we can also try out that exercise that's deploying these microservices to Azure too. That may be good. Is that like a temporary account? But anyway, if you think you can quickly set that up too, we can. Oh, okay. That might be a good thing too. But let's take a look. First, take a look into this code-ready container. It says it takes 45 minutes, so hopefully I would be done in 45 minutes or so. Then we can switch to using the Azure for working with deploying it to Azure. So, but for now too, let me take a look. I think get up to speed using code-ready containers, included instructions, examples. Okay, so I think for this one, we just need to install this code-ready thing. So okay, and so all of these things essentially is just introducing the code-ready containers. So it brings a minimal OpenShift 4 cluster to your local computer. So I think it's like equivalent, right, of like Minishift and Hetty, yes? Oh yeah, okay. That's what I thought too, Hetty. I think if I wouldn't be able to just get an account and use it off the shelf like that, right? Because it probably will require some configuration. Why don't you and I, if you have time, Hetty, let's say this weekend or something, if you have time, we can have a quick meeting and then get the Azure account ready. Then maybe like next week or any weekend, any week when you are ready to do it, we can plan ahead of time and then have a quick preparation meeting and set up the Azure cluster, and then we can meet and make sure we should actually do a run through, make sure it works, and then we can show it on one of the session. And now actually with my better computer, I should be able to invite you in, and then we can do it together too. So okay, and Terraform. Okay, yeah. The thing is, I have not used Terraform too, so that that would be like, I think it's for like more configuration. Is that correct? Yeah, we can, sure, certainly. Yeah, like why don't we schedule something like that? You let me know, maybe over here or Discord. Let me know when you have time, and let's schedule a time, and we'll do it on Azure too. But for now, let's still kind of take a look into code-ready containers, because then it should be, you know, you should be able to do it too, right? If you use code ready at this, in this case. So yeah, I think, see, that's my kind of feeling, right? We have all these new inventions, but they are not very, you know, kind of available, right, to everybody, because they're expensive, and then you need to pay, and most of us, of course, we don't want to spend our money on something like this, so we're trying to kind of get free resources, but that's just part of the game. So but if you can get a free thing, and that's a great idea. Thank you so much, Hetty, I really appreciate. Yeah, and I'm also thinking, because I actually have already used up my Google Cloud account too, so I can try to create another Google account, and then just to use that, and then set up a cloud for use. I think the Google Cloud is only for like 3 months or something, because I think will be good too to give it a try. And same thing for my AWS too. I exhausted my free trial, so unless I create a new account, I can't actually use that. So, but anyway, let's take a look. But let's kind of take a let's take a look still, right, in this code ready thing. Okay, so Red Hat code ready containers is regular OpenShift installation. Okay, so the code ready containers OpenShift cluster is ephemeral and is not intended for production use. So I guess it's then similar in concept to a mini ship thing, right? A temporary thing. It's a single node. It's both the master and the worker node. It disables machine config and monitoring operators by default. Okay, these disabled operators cause the corresponding parts of the web console to be non-functional. There's no upgrade path to newer OpenShift versions, okay? And it runs in a virtual machine. Cause other differences with external networking, okay? Code-ready also includes the following non-customizable cluster settings, and they should not be modified. So we're supposed to use the star.crc.testing domain. The address range used for internal cluster communication is in the 172 address range. Okay, so if the proxy is running in the same address space, it might cause problems. So those are all like warnings. So let's install. Okay, and we need minimum hardware and operating system requirement. Okay, well, 4 virtual CPUs. Okay, well, at least my current computer can handle it. 9 gigs of free memory. Okay, I should have that much for free, and 35 gig of storage space. Okay, so that sounds good. And okay, Mac OS. So it does require, if you're right, oops, what am I doing? Does require macOS 10.12, so a Sierra and above, so that's good. Okay, that's cool. And well, depending on your system, right? So you can take a look to see if it works on yours too. But I'm assuming, because I have Mac OS, so I was just checking that. But if you have Linux and all these other things, or Microsoft Windows too, so okay, so installing. Your host machine must meet, okay, after all of these things, right? Download, okay, let's do the download. Okay, let's download it. Oh, now I need that. What is my Red Hat login? Okay, I think it's that. Okay, I can't remember my password. I gotta search. You know, I have to say that I have like so many accounts now. It's been crazy. I used to remember a password, what to do. Of course, life used to be simpler, but now everything is everything, and then they keep asking you to update your password, so I can never remember. So you have to kind of look that up. And let me see. Red Hat. Okay. I'm not even sure if this is the one, but we can kind of. I hope it works. But otherwise too, you can register too using an account. Okay, oh cool. So it works. Okay, cool. Okay, now code-ready containers. Create a minimal cluster. Okay, so now it's actually, I have to download it first. It's not too big, so that's good. 2.4 gigabytes, so. Alright, so it says still like 20 minutes? Really? Are you sure? Takes that long? It would be too long for us. And why is like nothing is moving? Maybe because it's my network is slow. It is actually a little slow. Well, in the meantime, while this is going, well, we can kind of download, copy a pull secret. Okay. Okay, let's see when that's ready. But look at this, right? Can you see? Oh, actually, you know what? I think for me, I'm blocking it, so you won't be able to see too well too. It's just it is going very slow right now. But the thing is, okay, I'm kind of thinking, okay, in the meantime, while this is going, because it says it's like 20, still like 20 minutes left, and that's too long. That's not acceptable. Why don't we do this? Why can't life be simpler, right? It's like, okay, well, you know what we'll do? In the meantime, when that's going, I'm not sure if you may all feel like working on something quick in the meantime. If it's going to like take that long, you know, if I go back to here, right? Well, I can see it, but I think I'm kind of blocking in here too. So, oh, that's interesting. I can actually. Oh, I didn't know on my OBS when I actually get on my screen there, I can actually. That's interesting, right? Oh, or maybe it's over here. I'm kind of like crazy. Okay, sorry. Anyway, this is still going. It's still like 17 minutes, right? So, oops. And let me go back to here. It's gonna be, you guys are gonna find it to be so boring right now because I'm like waiting for this thing to get done. Okay, so let's do this because it's, you know, I actually did not ask if Upcar might be you know, streaming today. If so, then I have to be done in less than an hour. So I'm not gonna like let this code-ready thing to be slowing us down. Maybe we'll have to continue next time. But in the meantime, I'm just wondering too. This is our thing. This is our IBM Cloud Shell, and this is our thing in here, and these are like that. Okay, I'm just trying to like search for another thing we can do. What might be good to do? What do you think? Creating reactive Java microservices for 20 minutes while that's being downloaded. Does it seem like good, or should we choose something to do? Like a shorter exercise, injecting dependencies into microservices. How about that? Yeah, maybe let's do that. I think something like 15 minutes might be good. How about that? Okay, because we can't just like sit there and wait, and then that's the thing, right? Okay, all right. Let's kind of, in the meantime, right? Let's take a look into injecting dependencies into microservices. Now, back to this topic, right? We're dealing with microservices, and one of the rules, right? 12-factor kind of rule of doing microservices in a cloud native environment is that you want to separate out all the dependencies. There shouldn't be anything that's tightly coupled. So this is a really good thing to do. So let's take a look. Basically, it's using like context and dependency injection, like CDI. So that's a specification to kind of guide as to how you can deal with like dependencies like injection and context injection, that type of kind of management, right? Okay, so that's cool. And actually, you know what I'll do? Let me make sure I also send you the link in case, right? In case someone in here. So this is like in the meantime, let's work on and a this one would be like a micro profile. This is actually a micro profile specification too that it supports, right? Micro profile and open Liberty example using CDI. So okay, so this is the one. So if you just join me, then you're welcome to kind of follow along, right? So again, you know, it's actually the nice thing about this is this set of guides, right? Most of them are actually utilizing the same, you know, example, right? The two microservices that I just showed you earlier with the inventory and the system. So that's the same thing to use. So essentially, with CDI, we're basically using scopes to bind objects in the application to their well-defined contexts. And so CDI provides a variety of scopes for you to work with, right? While you will not use all of them in this guide, there's one almost every scenario that you may encounter, right? So scopes are defined by using CDI annotations. And you can also use dependency injection to inject one bean into another to make use of these functionalities. So then it enables you to essentially inject the bean in its specified context and without having to instantiate yourself. So you let so to speak, let your containers, right, your application container, right, to kind of instantiate for you. Okay, so so we can kind of take a look too. Basically, if you go to start /source directory, and that will give you the code, right? So I think it's over here. But it's not showing yet. So I think, again, you know, we already look into CDI. So CDI defines a rich set of complementary services that improve the application structure. The most fundamental services that are provided by CDI, they are contexts that bind this life cycle of stateful components to well-defined contexts. And dependency injection, that is the ability to inject components into an application in a type-safe way. So with CDI, the container does all the daunting work of instantiating dependencies and controlling exactly when and how these components are instantiated and destroyed. So, okay, so sort of like dealing with life cycles of these dependencies or of these components, right? Okay, so there we go. So let's do this, right? Git clone, we do that, right? Why don't I just do this one thing and let me bring up my terminal, right? Okay, so these are terminal. What color do we want? Let's just do a different color. Actually, this is something more exciting. Let's just use the purple. Okay. Okay, let's do this one thing. And I have a directory work Twitch and okay. And I like to organize my things a little better. This is my new computer, so everything is kind of not as cluttered. But let's do that, right? Twitch, and today we are in our session of 23. So I'll just say this, right? Okay, all right. So here we go. So now I clone. Okay, so here we go, and then we get the guide. So if you can follow this to the guide, but otherwise too, I like to use command line. So there are, again, right, we have two directories, the finish and then also start. So it's suggesting us using the start because then we can you can fill in, you know, the stuff for yourself. But what it's suggesting is that if you want to try what you build, you know, that's what we can look into it first. Okay, and let's go back to my, where's my okay, here we go. Okay, let's do the finish because it might be easier just to kind of take a look, right? Again, we run is mvn liberty run. You can also there we go. Oh, you know what, this might be an issue because I've switched computer and last time I didn't use this. How silly am I? Okay, here we go. Application. I didn't even have Java. Yeah, that's right, because I moved it onto my new computer, but for my personal, no, actually I have it. What am I talking about? Yeah, so, ooh. Okay. sometimes it's strange too. I don't know if it happens to you on my MacBook. It being so sensitive, my whole layout, right? Then if I touch the wrong part, it just turns off my audio. I can't figure it out yet, but anyway, library. I think I have my Java. Java virtual machines. Home, right? Okay, there we go. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, let me kind of make sure too. I just want to see what version this is. Oh, good. So this is the 15. Okay. So this is good. And then I'll also make sure that. Oops. What am I doing? Okay. See what happens? I think I touched the wrong key, and all of a sudden we lost this for a little bit. So that's very important if you set your path, right? You want to make sure that. Oh, and of course I did it wrong. It's my path, so I want to say bin, right? And then colon, and then make sure that I have my normal path. Otherwise, then I lose everything. So. Okay, that's cool. So now I should be going popd. Popd brings me back to my other directory, right? I don't know if you guys use, I love using it, right? Dirs shows you what you have in your stack, right? This is for your shell. Although I think this is a Z shell or B. Oh, it's bash. How did that happen? I thought they were saying it's by default it's using Z shell, right? But in any event, so a bash thing, you can use dirs. Dirs shows you what on your stack, and then you can do push, right? You can say push. Let's say I'm going here. So now, then it displays, right? Dirs will show you what gets pushed there, and you will pop, and then you pop it back up. So I'm just finding it to be so useful, right? Little tricks that you can use on your shell. It's really nice to navigate around, but of course then it does require on you kind of make sure your memory. And sometimes if I push too many things, then I get a lot of things on my stack, and then you have to pop in many times. But I think though you can actually use pop like +1 and +2, and you can use those two to kind of you know, pop things up, not in sequential, well, kind of sequential, but you have to know your location in order to do all of these push and pop. So just a little kind of side note to kind of share with you. So okay, so now we're back here. We're back in this, and then we can then do the Liberty run. Oops. Oh. What am I doing? Okay. So npm Liberty run. Is it going okay? Let's make sure. I want to make sure that my screen is showing the right thing too. So. Okay, so this is good. At least this is, well, while this is going, let's visit this. Our thing. Oh, guess what? I'm back to our code ready container. It is still downloading. I don't know why it takes so long. It's like 2.4 gigabyte. Normally it shouldn't take that long. But it is taking a long time. It still says 5 minutes. But in the meantime, let's kind of go back to us working on our you know, our Open Liberty project. How about that? So that's also still going. Well, at least we keep my system busy, so that's a good thing. And this is very interesting. This is very interesting. I have never seen this before. Like all of the stats that are being displayed in here. Let me kind of do this one thing. Oh, okay, it's downloading JAX-B API dash the binding, right? JAX binding. And it's kind of interesting. You know why it's taking a long time? Because my system is new, so everything takes longer, and I didn't do it beforehand. But in the meantime, that's the code ready container is also busy doing things. So what can we do? Let's go back to here. Let's take a look. Maybe let's take a look ahead of time too. But let's also then bring back our terminal too, side by side. So while it's going, so we kind of take a look into here. So basically, we just want to essentially see that the default server is ready to run a Smarter Planet. So just to make sure it's up, and then we can test it. So that's a good thing. But in the meantime, why don't we take a look then into the code base? How about that? I guess over here, and it's still not showing, and as you can see, it's still 3 minutes, still like 0.4 gigabyte left for our code ready container, so we can't do that yet. But I wanted to actually show the code in here. Here we go. So we have to go to the right section on this guide, then it starts to show. So here's the thing too, I just wanted to show some code while we're waiting for things to run, right? So this is the inventory manager. If you remember, the inventory is the one that consumes the messages, right? That's what it is. And but this is sort of interesting. Oh, so maybe that's what it is. I thought it's going to use the Kafka case, but it doesn't appear that it is using the Kafka in this particular exercise. It's only for the CDI. So, okay, so no big deal, but we can kind of take a look. Inventory manager, it makes use of Open Liberty, so Open Liberty, the guides, and then also just basic like Java, util, array lists, collections list, and properties. And also then it's making use of JavaX, and this is actually, that means Jakarta EE, right? Jakarta EE is the Enterprise Edition. That's Jakarta EE 8. Because if it is Jakarta EE, well, actually, you can actually still refer to Jakarta for the package name in Jakarta EE 8, or also known as Java Enterprise Edition 8. So the name got changed, or actually, Jakarta EE is the new branding name that got introduced during Java Enterprise Edition 8. So, and that's Jakarta EE 8. So it's a bit confusing. And then for the upgrades that needs to be done to your code, if you're referring to Jakarta EE, then you have to upgrade all of your package name to Jakarta EE, or actually Jakarta dot, right? Import Jakarta dot. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'll just say Java accept incoming network condition. Okay, that's fine. That's actually from the build, by the way. But anyway, this is kind of interesting observations in here. I'm noticing this guide probably is a little bit older because I think the newer guides will have reference to Jakarta, to the newer Jakarta EE packaging. So anyway, so the nice thing too, especially if you're new to this whole Java and then Java Enterprise, Jakarta EE has got to be the best implementation of the Enterprise Edition of Java. So that's Jakarta. It's the best one on the market. There are also other enterprise library, a Java library too, but so far too, for me, I've just been using Jakarta, or kind of like the regular Java EE. So, but it's just thought I mentioned. And the nice thing about, if you're doing your application, especially in Java, if you conform to this specification, then later, if you want to switch any kind of service provider, and if they conform to the specification, it's always better. Just remember too, when we do work, we have to keep in mind to how we're designing. That's important to always remember to abide by more industry standard specification, because it helps with later if you need to migrate and all those things. So that's just some kind of guidelines, or kind of a practical things that I've learned, right? And that's what it is. So anyway, so in other words, let's take a look. We're doing application scoped in here, and that's the context, right? We're giving it, this is application scoped, and for the inventory manager, and essentially doing a collections synchronized list. It would just essentially take your array list and essentially transform it more synchronized. So it's make sure that there is thread safe, is essentially, right? So Okay, so that's that. And then the thing is, it is doing for this inventory is just adding the hostname and system properties. It takes that, and then basically it builds up our properties. And then with the properties, what does it do in here? It's just set the properties. Oh, there's also system data. Oh, so I think what it is doing in here, the system data, is basically build up the model, right? Whatever you read in, and then you add them to your system data. So that's the, you keep track of that, and that's what it is. And then when you do, wait, and then it's actually an inventory list. And if you do an inventory list.list, it will actually, it will then return an inventory list that consists of the systems at that point in time. And what is systems now? System. Okay, so go back to here. It's basically is the collections of the synchronized lists, right? So that's why too, because this guy too, you can be calling it, and it will actually instantiate, and you do want to make sure systems itself is referring to a synchronized list, because anybody can be calling this at any time. That will calling a dot list, or using inventory manager doing a list call, then it will actually create a new inventory list, and that list needs to point to the system list that doesn't doesn't get corrupted, right? So that's what it is. I hope it kind of makes sense about what I'm talking about. So okay, so and let's take a look too at the resources. So the resources over here, making use of all of these Java X Enterprise Application Scope, blah blah blah, and then of course it makes use of JAX RS, right? That's the RESTful services, kind of things in here, the annotations, right? Get, path, and all these things, and then it's basically it's kind of leverage on our two implementation of the model, inventory list, and also system client in here. Okay, so then the path, so this kind of gives the routing. If you make the call to this resource and you do a /host name, then what it does is basically get the properties for that particular host name is what it is. So, and let's look at new here, system client.get properties. What system client? So it injects the system client into here. System client get properties. Oh, and so they get properties, and basically you can actually do different do query on different hosts is what it is with this particular case. So okay, so anyway, I think that should finish building. So I was just kind of make sure that I'm not wasting your time. Oh, here we go. So wonderful. So this is done. The default server is ready to run a Smarter Planet. So let's take a look in here. The instruction is saying that once we see that, right, this one over here, then we can point the browser to this guy, localhost 1980 inventory system. So let's take a look. There we go. So it's good. So now we see that systems, they're returning 0 because nothing has happened yet at this point. So it's the starting point of this inventory service, right? The current contents is we don't have anything yet, right? Nothing is stored in the inventory. Then point your browser to this URL that has / the routing of inventory and then systems localhost, and then you see a result in a JSON format with the system properties of your local JVM. And when you visit this URL, these system properties are then automatically stored in the inventory, and then we can then go back to that call, then we should see something. So let's do it. Right. There we go. So this is what has been, oops. Every time I kind of, somehow if I don't type it good, then my dictionary would kind of pop up is what it is. So, but that's good. So here we are. So it's essentially system properties coming from my current machine, my JVM. So as you can see, so that's good. So now if we go back to this one, then we should start to see something. Yes. So now this, when we make a call to inventory systems, then we can see that it writes, right? It gets the OS name and also username is Mary G, and then it's like one record right now. So now if we kind of do another inventory system call to localhost again, then I think we should be, so we actually still see one noise. Am I correct? Okay. Okay, and let me kind of stop these two. Okay, so here we go. Okay, and now if I okay, so because it's localhost, but let's say if I call this, but actually I don't have another instance running, so I can't do it. But I bet if I call something wrong, then let's say non-existing host or something. I think this should give me a 404. I think because I don't have this routing, right? Yeah. So okay. So yes, it comes back, but unknown host. The inventory system may not be running. Okay, so but if we call this again, this should still be showing like one. Essentially this inventory only keeps track of one copy per host is what it is. So okay, so that's that. And okay, so now it says that if when we're done checking, then we can stop the Open Liberty server by doing Control-C, or you can run the Liberty stop goal from the finished directory in another shell session too. So we could do that. We can do that too. Let's do things the proper way, right? And where's my here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we can actually do that in another. Let's go with, well, although, and then I'll have to session. Okay, and the thing is too is that I have to set my thing in here, library, right? Java. Am I actually in the right place? Okay, home. Okay, that's my Java home, and then path. Oops. Okay, now I can then run, and I actually do have to go into the finish directory and then do a liberty stop. Okay, so now you can see that, yeah, so this actually is done, right? So it returns back, and this is also build success. Okay, so that's cool. So that's all good, and I hope you're trying that out too. Handling dependencies in the application. Actually, let me take a look into here too. There we go. Our code ready containers is ready, but shall we still kind of continue with this exercise in here of the CDI? That might be good, right? Even though, well, I have about 30 minutes, so let's kind of quickly work through this CDI. I think if it's 15 minutes, then we're close to finishing up, or maybe at least take, hopefully like 5 more minutes. Okay, so this is what we did. We navigate to the start directory, and essentially we can do the mvn liberty dev. So we wanted to run in dev mode, and again, if you came to my previous session or one of the earlier sessions on Open Liberty, I talk about dev mode. So dev mode holds your command line session to listen for file changes, so that's kind of nice too. So it doesn't require you to stop or restart your server every time you make changes to your configuration. That's what it is. So let's do that. So let's copy this, and then okay, and then we can go to, now this one is the finished directory. Why don't we kind of go up to the start directory, and we do the dev mode. Okay, so then I think every time should be a little faster now, because it's kind of gone through all of the downloads, and I already got all this stuff it's supposed to be, right? Okay, I think it shouldn't take way too long, hopefully. You know what I'll do? I'll just kind of like shrink this up a little. Alright, let's not worry about testing, but let's get up to the point of this guy, right? We're doing running in dev mode. So here we go. So we see the difference. To Liberty is running in dev mode. So again, you know, if I make any changes to the configuration, it should pick up right away is what it is. But now too is that what it's saying is that we want to create the inventory manager class. So we can copy this and actually create it. Let's go to the start now. Main, right, and Java, IO, Open Liberty, guides. Sorry. All right, then this is the one we want to create it in guides inventory. So it's on this level, right? Oh, actually, inventory application is already there. Let's take a look. So as you can see too, with any Open Liberty application, it's quite simple in a sense, right? It doesn't contain a lot of things. You want to have the application path, right? In this case, is the inventory. That's the routing for this application, and then all you need to do is just extends the application, and that's taken from JAX-RS. So you know, it is pretty kind of like standard and is standard conforming. So that's a nice thing, you know, with like Open Liberty type of application, right? So okay, so that's good. So now we just need to essentially create this particular inventory manager class. So like I said, I copy it in here, and you should be able to, we want to do it command line without even using an IDE. We can do that. Inventory manager.java, right? And essentially to copy this thing in, Control D. Okay, just make sure all the you know, the what you call the indentation, all these tabs are correct. So that looks okay. Now the thing is interesting too, but that's another thing I want to kind of show you, right? There's a octo dump thing. Is it OD? It's actually OD. Yeah, OD. And basically you can actually, and that's what I check sometimes. Well, okay, so OD, do an octo. So looking at your code in octo code, and -C will give you kind of ASCII translation, and then inventory manager, because sometimes I check to see, right? So you can actually see all of your you know, your the actual characters are correct, right? That there's no any kind of hidden control characters in there is what it is. So sometimes I check them, because especially if you're like doing work, let's say I'm doing in Mac OS, is essentially Linux, right? And so that's not an issue. But if you're doing work on Windows, and very often, right, you get appended like Control N, Control R, Control N2 for the closing end of line. So that might create an issue, right? The CRCF, whatever it's called, right? Control return kind of characters. So those are hidden characters. So that's why I think we do like DOS. If you ever have to do any conversion, DOS to Unix, right? That will actually convert and get rid of all of these Control R, Control N kind of ending for you too. So anyway, I just thought I kind of mentioned, but small things too, like to kind of mention, right, while I remember. So okay, so I'm all good, you know, because sometimes if you do copy things, you know, from terminal, it may kind of throw in these extra characters that you don't want. So okay, so here we go. And so now we kind of took a look into it. Then now the next class to create will be the inventory resource. So let's do that. And again, we already looked into it, so it's just a matter of creating it in here. Inventory resources, Java, right? And then do a control, or actually paste, right? So that's the inventory resource that we just need to create in the start directory. Okay. Okay, so that's all good. I think I'm in the right place, right? And these are like, because just wanted to check, yeah, guides inventory, that's the level it needs to be at. Okay, so that's cool. And let's see, back to text. Okay, now we get both of these ready. And injecting, okay, so that explains all of these things, right? The inject annotation, right? It indicates a dependency injection. You're injecting your inventory manager and system client beans into the inventory resource class. So just wanted to kind of make sure. Let's do this one thing. Actually, this is what we just created, right? So let's take a look. So the inject, I just want to point out, right? The inject, well, this kind of like the color doesn't look too good. I have to kind of change it next time. But anyway, so it's referring to this, the inject is, that's how you do the injection, right? Of the inventory manager and system client. So, and then, okay, and then injected bean. Okay, so then this is becoming clear. And then you have client component, system client, and that's what also gets injected. And client component, system client that can be found in here in the inventory client directory. So this class communicates with the system service to retrieve the JVM system properties for a particular host that exposes them. And this class also contains detailed Java docs that you can read for reference. So, okay, let's take a look then. So this is our, we cloned your repo. And so if you go to the client, then that's what it's talking about, right? System client. So over here too, this is the class that communicates with the system service. So as you can see, right, it's like responsible for, well, it also injects too, is the config property system.http port, right? And that's what it is. And so it's doing all of these things in here. And then this one is basically building the URL too. So it takes in this protocol, the host, the port, and the path, and essentially to building the URI builds this URI string for you, and then it essentially just uses the URI call to do it for you. You pass in all the required parameters protocol, and then there are like things that you don't need to set. It will be null, host, port, path. And then it returns it the string format, so toString. And then there's also build client builder. This one, so this is the client builder. So it's basically have the client.target and takes the URL string, and then is essentially to do the client.target and then .request, and that will actually return you the builder, and the builder you return the builder header in here. So essentially too, yeah, you build out the HTTP headers with content type, and the media type is application JSON, and so that's what it is. So okay, so all of these things, it's already there for you, so you can kind of take a look into it to kind of get a better sense of it. And now you can then run the application. So now the difference for this time is we're doing work in the start directory. So let me pop back up, but I'm kind of a little bit lazy. Okay, so back to here, we're in the start directory. So same thing, right? We can just run Liberty. Oh, actually, did I already run it? Did I stop? Yeah, okay. Ooh, this is interesting, huh? So now we can see, right? If you remember that I actually never stopped the server. So and see, it's like immediate. Isn't it nice doing the def in def mode? It immediately knows that when you make changes to it, it will respond to it. And in this case, it's complaining that my inventory manager on line 29 reached the end of file while parsing. Okay, I think I probably know why, because when I copy, I didn't give it a proper end of file to it. I think that's what it is. So okay, so those seem to be the only messages. Is essentially the last line of each file, inventory manager and inventory resources. And here too, what does it say? It's actually line 17 is public. Oh, it should declare in a file named inventory resource. Ah, okay, so maybe I probably had the spelling. I bet that's what it is. So let's go back. I hope it is clear to you what this is complaining. And okay. This is what happened when you don't have IDE, but I actually do have an IDE, but I just wanted to quickly do command line to show. See what happened? It was complaining, right, about inventory resource. And it says that it should be declaring a file name inventory resource because I misspelled the name of the file. So let's kind of rename it inventory resource. Inventory resource. Okay, so now once I get that change, I bet over here, see, the dev mode immediately knew that I make the changes, and then it's doing a rebuild behind the scenes. So then it's actually quite fast. Can you see? It's first stop the CDI intro, this application stop it, and then it's actually doing all the rebuild, and then now it's up, right? So that's pretty fast. And so give it a try. This dev mode is kind of pretty convenient, right? No need for me to make any no need for me to actually stop my server and restart it. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so I have 2 more errors too, and remember that was reach the end of file. Both times are inventory manager and inventory resources. So let's do that. Inventory manager. Like I said, I think it's because the end of file is not good. So let me, this is in my VI and I can do a thing. I bet that should be okay. And oops, I kind of, okay. There we go, that's the right thing. Okay, let's see if the inventory manager succeed. Good. So see, it does another source compilation. So this time is all good. Okay, so essentially too, I just didn't have the proper end of file indicator. So that's what it was. So let's go to the same thing to the resource file. Go to the last, actually I could escape, oops. Actually, I can't remember my, some of the command for the VI, right? If you're a VI person. So see, I just need to do, for me, I just in insert mode and insert an extra line and then save the file. Okay, so this is all good, and let's see. Good. So it gets rebuilt immediately. So that's very cool. So now we can actually take a look into the inventory systems again. Okay, so because this is on the start directory, then we don't have anything yet. And let's kind of do, also do the system properties. Okay, now when you do system properties, you see that there are quite a lot of things being added in here. But now let's rerun the inventory systems. Wait, why is it not showing me? Oh, here we go. This one. Oh, wait. I don't think I'm doing it correctly. What was the other command that I need to run in order to populate the call? Is actually inventory systems localhost. There we go, localhost. And now if we call inventory systems, there we go. Then now we see that it register my new host. So okay, so I think I hope that is clear. You know, it kind of gives you a sense of this CDI kind of how you handle like context dependencies and injection. It's short enough, it shouldn't be as too complicated, and hopefully along the way I show you a few things here and there. And over here too, we can do test the inventory application too. So if you want to take a look into that yourself, that would be good, right? And you can do the create the inventory endpoint class in here. That's just showing you how you can test it. But I'll let you do this part, okay. And because then after that you can then run the test. So the nice thing about like using this is that when you do enter, that it will run the unit tests, you know, inside your build, your Maven build too. But of course, if you do enter, then it will also try to rebuild as well. In this case, yeah. So that's what it is doing. But otherwise, too, work through the tests, because I think I have about 15 minutes, but I do want to get back to the code-ready containers. So then it's not like leaving it dangling. Maybe we can take a look to see if we can at least get the code-ready containers installed. Okay. So I hope first, you know, this is useful for the CDI, just a bit of a demo, kind of a last minute thing. I didn't even was kind of thinking of doing it because I was mostly thinking of doing the doing like code ready. So okay, so this is good. So as you can see, right, let me kind of move it over here so you can see because earlier I think I was covering on the screen, but the thing is right now I have my CRC Mac OS the package installed already. So okay, so let's do that. And so I've already downloaded, so essentially too, then follow the instruction, follow this instruction, run CRC CRC setup to set up your host operating system. But I do want to copy my pool secret, right? And then also download the pool secret too. So I won't show it to you, but the thing is you have your own copy as well on your local. So I have that ready. Then I basically run CRC setup. Okay, so let's go. Oh, of course I'm not back to command line. I actually have to use the Cloud Shell to do my work, right? Going back to the Cloud Shell. Why is this here? Okay, okay, and I just have to restart it, I think. Because it's over 60 minutes, so the Cloud Shell will time out. So now I need to re-log in too. So let me do that. Connect via CLI. Oh wait, not this. It's my Openshift console. Let me see. Here we go. Okay, this is a little slow. Okay. As you can tell, right, if you, that's how you can obtain your token, right? But token is a temporary thing, so. Okay, so now I'm all good. Okay, so again, that's right, Hedy, you were showing earlier. I don't know if Hedy, if you're still here, but you can do a get pods. Sometimes I like to make sure, right, get pods, and I think it's the namespace. The parameter to use is all namespace. All namespaces, so then it should show me all of it, right? So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Hedy, yeah, for reminding me to use the parameter, right, to show all spaces. But otherwise too, then it just shows you all the pods in a whole long list, right? So as you can see, all of these are running. These are like by default, it's already there. So okay, so that's good. So now we know we're up, and then back to here, we do CRC setup. Host operating system for the code ready container. So okay, let's see if it works too. Let me kind of get rid of this one and get rid of that and go back here. I don't think I would have CRC in here to set up. Ah, that's right. So I won't have it ready. So it's basically on my host operating system. I don't think. Yeah, see, I don't have. This is interesting. Okay, so I have downloaded it. Oh, what am I talking about? Of course, I have to. This was okay. Let me actually. I have to. Let me use my Finder in this case and download. That's what it is. Okay, come on. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Let me move it over here. So basically, too, we can just follow this, and essentially we'll do the 1.280 on your computer. We'll be then guided through it. It's Apache. This is an Apache project. I'll agree. Okay, I'll just say okay. 2.687. Okay, all right. Password. Okay, which is my password now? Okay, I'm gonna think. Okay. I can't remember. Okay, because I have different ones for different things. So okay, so it looks like it's good. Ooh, see, and okay. Still doesn't like it. Huh. Okay, it's my local computer, so... Oh, you know why? Okay, I think I know why. Because I entered the wrong thing. Wait. Oh, there we go. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I can't see it, so I don't know whether I typed the wrong thing. And let me, actually, while I'm here, while that is installing, let me also make sure that Upcar is not going to go to need this, because then, which means I have to kind of let him do it to this. Okay, let me ask him, Upcar, are you going to stream? Because sometimes we have like a calendar, so I see that he's registered for like 4 o'clock Central, which is almost, I guess, like 2 o'clock, right, Pacific time for him. So at 2 PDT, let me ask him, because if he is, then no problem, I will wrap up in here, so at least then we get the code ready containers installed, so which is good. So this is good. Install it to the trash. Okay, move it to the trash. All good. So now I have this ready. Let me use a different one. Okay, and let me kind of go back. I like to go to my work directory to do things. Okay, and okay. Now the thing to use is CRC setup. So I should now have CRC setup. Okay, it's constantly improving. We would like to know more about usage. Okay, and okay, which I could contribute anonymous. Well, for now, I don't think I can change later too. It's too much stuff going on. Let me see if Upcar is coming back to me. Okay, would you like to contribute anonymous? Okay, no worry, you can still enable later. That's fine. And then it's doing all these things. Okay, wonderful. So it is already doing that. Oh, okay. So Upcar said he's streaming on Thursday. So yeah, if you are back, if you can come back tomorrow too, he'll be here. Okay. Yeah, thanks for getting to me right away. Okay. All right, cool. So I tell Upcar, no problem. So it looks like I have a bit more time. So let me then spend more time and maybe at least get the code ready, container ready up first. So, and let me see what is going on. And okay. Wait, let me make sure I'm not on here. Okay. So many things going on. Okay. And is this going on? This is still going on. So as you can see, some of these might take a bit of time. So if you want to give that a try, it probably will be worth it to try out a local copy of Openshift on your machine, just to take a look. And do not forget, and if you just join me, please consider signing up for a workshop, a mini workshop on Monday, next Monday, June 28th at 12:30 Central Time. So that's US Central Time. So let me again send you the link. That maybe some of you only joined just now, so maybe you might not have it. So let me copy that, and once again, please sign up for an Openshift mini workshop on next Monday, June 28th at okay, I'll use actually I'll use Pacific time, so 10:30 a.m. Pacific, and that's 12:30 p.m. Central. Okay, so I just gave you the link again. So consider that, then you'll get a free cluster, a real OpenShift cluster for 24 hours to 36 hours. So okay, hey, wonderful. This is good. So this is all set up for code-ready runner container. So that's cool. So now I can actually use CRC start, even over here too. We can use CRC start to start it, right? CRC. Okay, so now I have to give the pool secret. Okay, I won't be. Let me see. I think I have to kind of not show you because those are secret as such. Can't just show you the secret, right? So, all right. Okay, so I could actually do it in here, of course. Copy. Oh, okay, cool. While that is going, let me... Okay, so this is, whilst this is still going, I think that might be all is needed in order to say that, okay, we have this ready now, the CRC container. So, okay, so now let's kind of get back to the guides. And we're in Kubernetes, so we know it is towards the end part, cloud deployment. Code-ready containers, that's the one we're trying out. This might take a bit of time, so I may not actually have enough time to go through all of it today. And who are you? Oh, I'm so sorry. I really cannot let you in here, so... Okay, I'm sorry. You're not supposed to be interrupting us. Yeah, this is a stream, so... Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, just have to ban you, so... Okay, anyway, and this actually looks like... I think, is it good? Okay. I think this might still be going, but okay, so let's say, you know, this is creating this, right, for OpenShift 4.7.13. Okay, so we are, again, you know, working with the same two microservices, the system and the inventory should be like the same thing. And that's all is needed. And okay, so the idea is that it's already there. And then you also actually will be needing Docker as well. So if you have Docker desktop, you should be all good. Actually, do I have desktop in here on this machine? Hold on a sec. I actually have two, I think. Yes, I do. I don't know what is going on with my Docker. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so I have my Docker up now, and then code-ready, which you already have. And now, fastest way to work through the guide is to clone the Git repository. So, copy and then clone it. I believe this would be considered ready. Let me kind of take a look too. It's kind of like too much stuff. Oh, okay. So I think it is running now. I can safely assume it is running now. Okay, my Docker is starting up, just so you know. Let me use another color so it doesn't... okay. Oh, I think thing. I think this might be, yeah, so the guide CDI intro. So let me do this one thing. I think if I clone it, because I don't want it to kind of overlook my you know, the, I'll just say this one is the code Red Hat Openshift, right? And this one is code ready. So okay, that's cool. So okay, cool. So I just clone this guy up. So this is where it is. Actually, you know what? There's no need for me to worry about it. I thought I created another directory, but let me kind of move that back up. Sometimes that's what I do, because this guy, I wanted to move it back because okay, all right. So we know that today that's how I try to keep track of every time what I've worked on. Okay, so this is the one, right? And I don't know if this is too small. Let me kind of increase the. Okay, is it better? Okay, all right, cool. All right, so let me kind of do this. Okay, so this is what we have just cloned. Again, start directory, finish directory. And then setting up code ready containers, which we have already done, and we've also done the CRC start. So let's go back to here. This is the one. CRC is already started. Our code ready container, and then so we're good. We're purple one is actually not the purple one. Last one too. Let me kind of move it closer. Okay. We live in such a busy world. We have too many things going on. Let me kind of do it kind of so it's easier to see. And let me. Okay. All right. So we're back here. This is our CRC. And when prompted, supply your user pro. Okay, we already did that. Oh wait. So it says if the cluster starts successfully, I can see output in here. Did I see it yet? I actually don't see it, and that's why I'm kind of wondering. Oh wait, not good. That's where I was like wondering. Okay, so something about it not allowing me to connect. These are localhost though, 127.0.0.1, 001, I meant. So what is the issue? So I'm not seeing this part. So okay, so let's kind of like go back to this infrastructural kind of thing. And let's see. Okay, so I've done this setup, and that's what I did, right? If you go back, CRC startup setup, I've done that, and that was fine, right? If I scroll back, the setup was what I was doing, right? Extracting, bundle, and compressing, and so all set. So CRC start, and that's what I'm doing, and. Okay, so it's in the pool secret part. So my secret, I just do essentially it's just a copy, right? A copy and then paste it, and now it isn't liking it. So let me do it one more time. So. Oh wait, it's already running. Oh, then why is it complaining earlier? I think what is trying to run it, right? Oh, okay. So maybe I'm okay. After all, it's okay. It's just happened that some other thing trying to connect to it and is refusing. Not sure who is there trying to connect, unless it's my Docker desktop, and my Docker desktop shouldn't be doing anything to it. But okay. Anyway, oh, okay, Hetty, good night. Thank you. I know it's very late for you. Thanks for staying up. Yeah, let's connect again. We'll talk about Azure. I don't know if you're still here, but okay. So anyway, even in here too is kind of I've been running this for almost 2 hours, right? So let me kind of stop then in about 5 minutes, but at least two, I think. You know, based on here, right? It says if it says the server is accessible via web and all these things, that means I'm good. Why does it keep popping up? Okay. All right, so it looks like I might be good. Okay, and then logging onto the cluster. Let's try to interact with this OpenShift cluster. Let's do CRC OC env. Okay, let's do it maybe on another. Okay, how about this here? Okay. Okay, so I think it's good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm seeing this too is export and then eval. In order to do that, and run the following command to log in and gain access. Okay, so that's all is needed. OC login essentially, and this is a local testing, so that's what we need, right? Login -u developer. This is what it is. Oh, the OC is not found. Oh, so here we go. I do need to install OC, and that's where I'm going to need okay, that's one thing after another. I don't think it tells me that I need it, the OC command. So that's a good thing. Maybe I'll tell them too. Let me kind of make sure. It says what you learn. So prerequisite is, okay, it says code-ready containers in Docker, but it doesn't say OC. So that's something. That's good. So I'm going to tell the folks doing these to also install the OpenShift CLI, right? So I guess we could just try to find out OC install for Mac. Installing the CLI. So for Mac OS, we actually need to do from the customer portal too. So I think all you would need then is just create the Red Hat login. You should be able to do it. So okay, well, but anyway, I think we have made pretty good progress, except for the fact that the code-ready container actually requires a bit of time to download this thing and then install. And in the meantime, we also try out the Open Liberty microprofile CDI. So I think it's a good thing. Things seems to be working okay, right? I hope it is clear to you. But for now too, if you want to do OpenShift, the command line, this is what you can do. You can download, go to Red Hat customer portal and then find the CLI and download it from there. So that's what you can do. But for now too, I've been running this stream for almost 2 hours, and I think folks are probably getting very late now in Europe, especially, and even in the US it's getting late, but not too late. But so for today, I think maybe this is we can claim, okay, we've done for what we're doing today, but let me kind of get back to here. So just a quick review is that we've done both things, the code-ready container. Next time, let me go back to finishing up to get this code container to run, because the next set of commands is to interact, like using OpenShift CLI to kind of do the next set of tasks, and that's something. Let me set this up my computer, this one my new computer, so that's why I don't have that already. So okay, but for now, I want to thank you for having kind of sat through with me today. I hope it's useful, and join me on my Discord, and again, if you haven't already done so, and let me kind of let me send it to you again, my Discord. Join me on my Discord server for more tech discussions and beyond, right? So okay, so we can kind of continue the conversation. Plus, I would really love to hear your feedback if this has been useful, or if there's anything else that you would, if there is, not just is, but are any things you would like me to kind of work through together, we can also kind of do that too. So, and then with that, and just wanted to say thank you to you for having spent the time today. I hope, you're having a, good day. And if you are in the Chicago area, I hope the Sunday storm didn't, cause any damage and stuff. But I'm sure, if there's damage, there are not too many families, which I'm kind of thankful for when I heard about it. But certainly too, there were a few families who were unfortunate that the tornado kind of ripped through their neighborhood, or it's kind of like a path, not just one neighborhood, but it's like a series of houses that were like in the way of the tornado, and then it ripped through a couple houses, and those folks actually lost their homes. And I look at like pictures, if you search for news, right, their homes kind of torn apart. I really feel sad for them. I'm trying to see to what I can help, whatever I can help, and these families to kind of get back. And I can't imagine people, losing your house. All of a sudden you're living there and the house is gone. And so I think for me too, I try to kind of remember folks too who are less fortunate than we are, and try to help them. I think that's what we want to try to achieve every day. So so with that comes to an end, and I should kind of stop now. It's almost like 6 more seconds is 2 hours. So thanks a lot. I hope you come back next week and give me suggestions on what you'd like to hear too. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. And okay, I'll see you next time, and you all take care. Okay.